gimmickry that goes along with it. What makes it so compelling and so attractive is a more authentic state of being, somehow. Now, why? It seems to me that the reason why is art and order out of the products of the unconscious is a kind of open-ended task. The shaman is the archetype of the artist, the archetype of the creator, the maker, homo faber, the maker of tools. And I would argue that in the same way that Iliad in The Forge and the Crucible traces the evolution of proto-metallurgic shamanism into early smithing and hence into the more florid expressions that you get in alchemical literature. In the same way that that was done by Iliad, it's possible to argue that you can carry that process forward and see, in fact, that the aspirations of the 20th century in its most Faustian expression, the manipulation of matter, the taking control of the weather, the splitting and releasing of the energy in the atom, that these are all, in fact, completions of explicitly defined shamanic tasks. It's just that somehow the price of being able to work the miracle was literally loss of soul by virtue of having to opt into the metaphor that nature it herself had no soul. In other words, it's like modern man has made the journey into the realm of the golem. In order to be in the realm of the golem, you must shed your own soul and leave it behind you. Well, this is the cultural situation that we inherit. Jean-Paul Sartre, in his major opus, I think it was Being and Nothingness, which sort of summed up 20th century philosophy, said, nature is mute. That is the existential situation. Well, to me, this is like an apotheosis of wrong-headedness. Nature is not mute. It must be that man is deaf to hold that position, you see, because nature reinforces the natural set of conclusions which we tend to call feminine, that all things flow, that nothing is permanent, that form comes into being, is sustained and dissolves, that there is a kind of round of eternal return, that worth is in the moment, that it is depth of felt experience that empowers a life well lived. Well, these are things which are all argued for by this repressed point of view that has survived in modernism as only a thin thread of tradition reaching back beyond the collapse of the Greco-Roman world to a time when these ideas actually dominated and flourished. But I want to also talk about what I think of as the shaman as model, as personal model. The reason I think that shamanism is so important is because I think what it really boils down to is a revaluing of personal identity. And that when you strip away the feathers and the chants and all the anthropological gimcrackery that goes along with it, what makes it so compelling and so attractive is that it is a more authentic state of being, somehow. Now, why? Seems to me that the reason why is because theories about the world are based on direct experience. The shaman is a kind of provisional scientist, making it up as he or she goes along, constantly willing to revise and keep it open-ended. And information imported from without is extremely suspicious, which is the exact opposite of the way science, for example, does its work. In science, if you have a bizarre result or a peculiar finding, you immediately say, well, go check the literature, see if anyone else ever got this before, then get them on the phone and we'll see if we can't duplicate what they were doing. What this creates is what we have, which is a vast, low-grade, inductively derived image of reality, where only those things which happen with the greatest regularity and the greatest predictability are authenticated by our languages. So we can talk about rain and sunrise and mealtime and obligation, because these things are repetitiously before us to the point where they have become known as smooth stones are known. But what is not repetitiously before us is the edge of cognition, the unique part of our own felt experience of reality. And the reason for this is very deeply rooted in the culture. It's that we believe in these bizarre notions like consensus, like uniformity of phenomena, predictability, probability. I mean, everyone here believes in probability. Who here could explain it to the satisfaction of anyone? I mean, we are adrift and embedded in a matrix of unexamined linguistic excuses for avoiding looking at how weird it is. And that is what the shaman is not. The shaman, first of all, basically has no real history, cannot consult vast libraries, is not in touch with the reputations, the overwhelming, stuffy reputations of his antecedents hundreds of years in the past. The shaman can usually ask one guy or one woman older than himself, and that elder represents what for us would be an entire epigenetic cosmos of data banks, libraries, hieroglyphic records, museum drawers crammed with artifactoria, so forth and so on. So the shaman's intellectual horizon in terms of what we call historicity is very foreshortened. Consequently, everything has to be explained out of energy that is unleashed in the psyche, energy of speculation, of myth-making, of imagination. And this is, in fact, then what the function becomes, what the shamans are doing. They are not consuming culture, they are generating it. But it does seem to me that the great weapon is art, because art is confusing. Art hides a multitude of sins and can serve many masters at once. It is subversive. It is cheap to produce. And if we take seriously the notion that society is an environment, an ideological jungle of competing memes, then it's reasonable to suppose that the most articulately and clearly constructed myths will in fact come to be. That he who can tell the best story, or she who can tell the best story, will see that story come to be. This is what the shamans are doing for their societies. They are exemplars. And this is a point that I want to make very clearly, because I was published in the LA press as knocking the venerable habit of using quartz crystals. So I want to talk for a moment about the shaman as prestidigitator, the shaman as showbiz, and point out that really what shamans understand is that the world is not as it appears. And this is big news everywhere. No culture is entirely comfortable with the news that it's living in a fool's paradise. But in the tribal situation, where sometimes living groups number under 100, and people are living in, let's say, an extreme environment like the highland savannas of Central Asia or the Amazon jungle, there is a social cohesiveness that brooks no illusions about what people are. I mean, it's pretty funky. But out of it comes the exemplar, the exceptional individual, what we call, I believe, intellectuals. And the intellectual is alienated and sees more deeply into things than everybody else, because everybody else is just running around inside the cultural form. And it's very easy to run around inside the cultural form and never to question it, regardless of what it is. I maintain that there's something in our worldview that mitigates against us taking seriously the notion that the world is really made of ideas. We have a great clinging need to believe that the world is really made of very solid stuff. This is our anxiety. This is a part of why the message of the feminine is so unwelcome, because it says, as Heraclitus said, Pantit rea, all flows. Everything is in motion. The hardest truth there is to learn is that everything is lost. You know, things come into being and then they leave being. People, children, marriages, empires, continents, species, star systems, they just come into being and they're fully there, you know, in the poignancy of the moment, that absolute pristine moment of fully realized being, and then they are replaced. And there is a constipated resistance to this in Western society, and yet plunging into the depths of the felt experience of the now inevitably brings up this flowing river, the passing of the causal mechanisms, the rising and falling of samskaric intent. And shamanism achieves this through symbiosis with plants. I think that we have not at all taken seriously enough the notion that we are existentially ill at ease if we do not have symbiotic relationships with plants. That in fact, the thing which distinguishes us from other primates and most other mammals is that we have this apparently innate predilection to addict to everything, to our mates, to territory, to certain kinds of food, to behavioral patterns of all sorts, to sex, to structures of animosity. And when you get into talking about fixations on food, you're moving very close to the shamanic portal of discovery of hyperspace, which is, of course, the psychoactive properties of plants. Now, there are two ways to talk about the phenomenon of psychoactivity in plants, either as a kind of fortuitous piece of good luck that somehow the brain's ordinary dynamics are chaotically disrupted by these almost but not quite neurotransmitters, and out of the resulting chaos, a still higher level of brain organization creates a wonderful myth of meaning. And this myth of meaning can't be taken seriously because it's a interior description of a pharmacologically induced state of chaos. You see, this idea keeps saying no meaning. Important to preserve the concept that there is no meaning in ecstasy. But the fact of the matter is that the experience is almost entirely epistemic and noetic. It is not chaotic. Chaotic is something that it appears to be to the neophyte. And very few of its critics have ever persisted into expertise because it's much easier to slip away and write your informed denunciation. So it's very, so the other view is that actually this constitutes a true mystery. The most unlikely of all things that you might hope or expect to encounter. That in fact, what is called the ordinary mundane world is not ordinary or mundane at all. This long-sought meaning, the super expression of the transcendental, which we all feel drawn toward, is in fact a realizable goal that for whatever reason we have taken upon ourselves the pose or the stance of seeker, of one who looks for the deeper level of things, of one who really wants to get to the bottom of things. In the phenomenon of shamanism and the idea of taking it as a model, you have to confront the possibility that these things can actually be accomplished, that it is not as orthodox traditions of all sorts seem to insist, which is that you can only do it on tippy toes and with bowed head and over 40 years and with a lot of discipline and subservience, that actually the older model of the chance-taking shaman, God's fool, the dancer in the waterfall, is more authentic, closer to the truth. That there really is transcendental knowledge to be won, but there is no easy way to it. Now, I got off on this tack because I was discussing the show business aspect of shamanism. I think it is largely a pointing towards something. And the shaman is the trickster, he is the heyoka. And so the appurtenances of shamanism are the appurtenances of a stage magician. They do not convey or confer anything except in the power, in the minds of those who observe them. In the Amazon, what I found that really amazed me was the more off-river and up-country these guys were, in this case they were ayahuasqueros, the more like pragmatic rationalists they were. You know, they said, well, like you would say, so what does this mean when X, Y, and Z happens? And they say, the people believe that it is zabaz. I said, what do you mean the people believe? He said, well, that's what they believe. He said, well, what is it? He said, well, who knows what it is, you know? I mean, some of our best people are working on it, but...
Hey, collective, hey. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. Shout out to the entire YouTube fam, I love y'all. Shout out to everyone that has liked, commented, subscribed. Thank you guys for the super thanks, okay? Give me some messages, Spirit, for the collective. What is it the collective needs to know? Pursuit flipped right over. We saw this in the last reading yesterday. Give me one more. Yeah, party. All right, let's tap in, collective. Hold on, let me push them down so y'all can see them really quick. Okay. All right. Again, like I say, collective, we actually saw pursuit yesterday. Someone is getting ready to pursue you, okay? Somebody is getting ready to pursue you. They definitely see you as like the one, okay? You could have a spiritual connection with this individual. This is somebody that I feel like the chemistry may be very strong, or the chemistry, the attraction. They could be sexually attracted to you, collective, as well. I feel like somebody tried to ignore their feelings, or somebody been trying to like disregard the truth. Like, for example, I seen a guy say, when a man meets, this, of course, this is not going to be for every man, okay? So take what resonates, leave the rest. But again, he was saying, if a man meets a woman and she a 10 out of 10, sometimes it'll scare him and push him away, okay? When a man, basically meaning when a man starts falling for a woman, sometimes depending on the man, it will scare him and push him away. That's kind of what I'm getting here. Somebody tried to like disregard their feelings, you know what I'm saying? Now they can't fight it. But let's clarify, what is pursuit? Why is pursuit here for the collective? We got the 7 of Wands. Oh, with the King of Wands, somebody finna fight for you. Somebody finna fight for you, collective. I don't know if you kick somebody to the curb, or is this dismissed? Is this your energy? Did you dismiss this individual, okay? Because again, roller coaster is here. So this might be somebody that had you on a roller coaster, meaning the emotions up and down, up and down, up and down, okay? But somebody is gonna fight for you. Pursuit says chasing, persistence, hunting down, and resilient. Somebody may also feel like you have other options. But like I say, they willing to put up a fight with the 7 of Wands. Clarify risky. The 5 of Wands. And I'm seeing the 8 of Cups. Clarify the 5 of Wands. We got the Emperor. This is definitely an energy of, I'm picking up 2 things. Somebody is definitely getting ready to fight for you, collective. I did see the 8 of Cups as well. This person may have had options themselves. Especially with the Emperor here, this person may have had options themselves, collective. But to be honest, I don't feel like, I'm not getting that energy with the energy around this Emperor that he playing no games, because the Eight of Pentacles is here. This might be somebody that worked very hard, that been working diligently towards something, okay? And for whatever reason, like I say, they've been trying to ignore their feelings, okay? I feel like this person is definitely finna chase you. The Emperor confirms that, because the Emperor is action motivated, okay? This is somebody that is action motivated. They are inspired at this time to take action towards you. And the Emperor do not play games. I feel like this person is worried about you being sexually involved with somebody else, to be honest. That's kind of what I'm picking up. Because the Emperor upright, this is somebody that's usually very disciplined, okay? Clarify soulmates. We got the Page of Swords. This person watches you, collective. They watch you. Somebody feels like you the one. It says, soulmate says the one, deep love, spiritual connection, and life partner. Somebody, ooh, the Page of Wands, somebody watches you, collective. For some of y'all feminine energies, there's this masculine energy that watch you. And it could be vice versa. It's some women that's watching men too, okay? But with the Emperor coming out, very masculine energy here. Clarify, dismiss. The Nine of Wands. Oh, and I'm seeing the Justice at the bottom, collective. I feel like for some of y'all, you have your guard up with this person. You have your guard up with this person, or either they have their guard up with you. One or the other. Clarify adrenaline. Yes. Come in, baby.
What type of card is from? What type of card is there?
It shows it on there. It's a MasterCard. Okay. Okay. My son trying to buy a game on his PC. Clarify adrenaline. Oh, the Justice card came back out, collective. Listen, somebody finna chase you. I feel like you're gonna get exactly what you want. Even though, I don't know, you might get this person, you might make this person chase you. You might make this person chase you, collective. You might make them put in the work. You might make them prove themselves to you. I feel like, again, justice, like I say with the adrenaline, things been up and down. This person may have had you on an emotional roller coaster. But with the Justice card, this is about fair agreements being made, you know, disputes being resolved, collective. So I feel like somebody actually is wanting to work it out, wanting to right a wrong, wanting to make something right, wanting to, like, smooth things out with you. Remember we saw the King of Wands? I'm seeing the Queen of Wands. What is party? Whoa, hold on, collective. What is party? It's flying back. I'm seeing the Knight of Cups. You're going to have some type of fun with this person. I'm seeing the Ten of Pentacles at the bottom. You're going to have fun with this person. They may like surprise you, like throw you a party or do something very nice for you. I do see them coming in with an offer with the Knight of Cups, okay? What is the Seven of Wands? Clarify the Seven of Wands. The Star card. And And I'm seeing the sun. You got the sun and the star. This is an energy of things being aligned. I feel like, especially with soulmates here, this is somebody that you are destined to probably be with, collective. And it's just like now everything is aligned for the connection to progress and actually work, okay? Clarify the Emperor. We got the King of Swords. And I'm seeing the Ace of Pentacles. Clarify this King of Swords. We got the Knight of Pentacles. There go that Justice card again. This is definitely somebody that you've waited on for a while, collective. I feel like this person definitely been dragging their feet, collective, with the Knight of Pentacles here. But I do feel like the connection is going to actually work in the end. For some of y'all, this person, I feel like has been like off and on dealing with somebody else. I feel like this person been like off and on dealing with somebody else, like from their past as well. But I feel like they cut that situation off with the King of Swords here. Now they done step back into this Emperor's energy. They ready to come stand on some type of business about you, okay? Where's the Page of Swords? The Hermit, I told you they watch you. The Hermit is like the spy, the investigator. They watch you, okay? And look at this, the Four of Cups. She minding her business, and here he go. Okay? So I feel like you're not even gonna see this person coming. They watch the hell out of you. They watch the hell out of you, collective. And to be honest, for some of y'all, this person haven't been dealing with a past person. They have not been dealing with a past person at all. What is the Nine of Wands? The Ace of Cups. I told you they've been trying to ignore their feelings. Something is nearing completion, though. What is the Justice? Whoa, so we got two cards. Give me one, Spirit. Y'all know I want one, but one of them was the Nine of Pentacles. Give me one card. Clarify the Justice. Ooh, the Knight of Cups again. I told you, you're going to get exactly what you want from this person. You might, like I say though, it ain't gonna hurt to make them work for it, collective. It ain't gonna hurt. What is the Knight of Cups? We got the Five of Pentacles in reverse, and look at this. Look how he just in the background watching her. But it's in reverse. I feel like somebody is coming from out of this energy. They finna step from out of the shadow. They just been in the back, in the shadow, watching you. Clarify the Five of Pentacles in reverse. We have the Lovers. And look, the Emperor. Somebody is about to take action towards you, towards this connection. I feel like this is your person, collective. You definitely have a spiritual connection with this individual with the Lovers card here. So be expecting somebody to pursue you. like I say, whoever this person is, I feel like they kind of ran from the connection. I feel like the up and downs, the energy of this emotional roller coaster is all their fault, which makes sense as to why they're willing to put in the work to fight for you, because they know they messed up, okay? So I'm going to close out the reading here, y'all. Hit that thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and thank you guys for watching.